Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Zara, so welcome to the channel. If you're new here, it's lovely to meet you. And actually, I am quite new here. So, we are in this together. I've been getting a lot of spiritual downloads, and more specifically, the past couple months, I've gotten some very intense ones surrounding the global atmosphere and where things are headed currently. I don't enjoy doing a lot of political, religious style psychic readings, but in this particular instance, I will try to be neutral and guide my downloads from spirit in a way that I think is best received and for the right people that are meant to come across it. So, as many of us know, there has been a global shift recently. I had a severe stomach pain, and typically this tends to be my indicator of huge global shifts or severe anxiety within my radius. In this particular instance, it was February 28th, and that was the launch and the start of an attack on Iran in the Middle East. I immediately woke and I was sleeping, and I had this inclination. Obviously, my body told me very quickly through my severe nausea and pain that I needed to go ahead and check sources that most likely there was an attack somewhere in the globe. Particularly, my feeling was directed towards the Middle East and Iran, given recent news updates leading up to that time frame and my intuition. So, severe stomach ache, severe problem. I realized that the initiation had begun, and since then, a lot of downloads have come further on that particular topic and on the global affairs. So I just would love to share that with you all. And if I have any psychics, which I do feel I have a couple people tuning in that have psychic abilities, I can feel about 2 to 3 people. If you are, feel free to share in the comments. I'm sending you so much love and light and peace to our world. But what was very interesting is last week, closer to about March 20th, which is the new year in many parts of the world, particularly in the Middle East, in Iran, they call it Nowruz. It's the first day of spring, and what is very interesting is I got a download because I was walking on a brisk walk just for exercise, and I saw 4 white pelicans in my viewpoint very close to me, and I approached them, and simultaneously, altogether synchronistic, they began flocking together, flying just softly in front of me, all 4 of them at the exact same time. And that is typically an indicator from the divine for a download to happen, and that you are on the right track. So if you ever have pelicans, or particularly white pelicans or white birds in unison flock before you, then pay attention to your surroundings and the divine, your downloads in that moment. And what I received in that moment was a very interesting perspective and a very interesting message from Source, which I kind of found to be interesting because I had just looked up a few days prior when energy realm that we are participating in at this time. And I'm not very familiar with astrology. I'm not well versed on a lot of things that astrologists discuss, and I have much to learn on that. But particularly with this download, I was told that Mercury retrograde had started a day or two before the start of the war on Iran. And I was told that Mercury retrograde ended at the beginning of spring, meaning Nowruz, at the March 20th, March 21st peak, or end of retrograde, but the beginning of the new year for parts of the world. And I was told that, and this is very profound, and I realize that it may come across harsh, direct, or insincere, but it is so important to remember that spirit is of pure love and pure light, and everything that flows through the divine is for the greater good of all, and not to cause hardship, pain, or aggression on anyone or anything, but oftentimes things occur to teach a lesson. And that's exactly what I was told, that because specifically in any case, whether it be retrograde or not retrograde, again, I'm not an astrologist, but because the war and the aggression was instigated at such a time of energetic shift during Mercury retrograde, and by entities that were dishonest, any individual entity, by collection or by soul, I was told in the aftermath of the Mercury retrograde will be in the depths of its learnings. Essentially what that means is, if you wished pain, aggression, hardship on anyone or anything, and it did indeed take way during that shift of retrograde, then in the aftermath, it's an opportunity to shift perspective within, because everything comes from within, for your own forgiveness, love, and understanding, or the universe will teach you. And this is not a threat. This is not anger and hostility, but there's a way in the world, and I have seen it so often, call it karma, call it law of attraction, but typically it's a mirror to your reality. And oftentimes what we've heard in these dynamics are individuals that have praised and shouted loud for what we call, or what we've heard to be called, liberation. And I'm being told, and I was told, seek liberation from within. The true liberation and freedom comes from within. In other words, it seems to be that bombing one's way to liberation is no way of freedom. And I will continue to meditate and ask for downloads on the present and the future of that region. But I do heavily feel, just from my downloads, my intuition, my strength and love with spirit, that this is a divine truth and an opportunity for people to learn or be taught in the most loving way possible. Any kind of place in the world that instigates or chooses to instigate crime, warfare, hostility, there's always a way in which they have to learn from the actions that they chose. There's no good way of war. There is no good way of colonialization in any way, shape, or form. And it's an opportunity for the world to awaken and psychics and individuals to come forward with love and light and understanding that oftentimes the ones that are the loudest and the most destructive ways are the ones that should not be heard to its fullest extent. And what I mean by that and what I hear from that is that oftentimes when you're in your silence, and this isn't as an individual or global or state, country perspective, when you sit in silence and you are one with the universe and the divine, the answers will come. Sometimes when we as a collective speak over one another, interrupt one another, yell, express anger, even through that passionate exterior, while passion can be such a leading force and drive for change and evolution, it can also be detrimental when it's used in a negative way, in a negative light, through darkness rather than light. So if you wish to seek light from within is what I'm being told. To seek liberation and freedom from within is what I'm being told. And to also pray in love and light for all to also experience love, light, freedom, and liberation from within, and allow that change you wish to see in the world and the positive change within to permeate in itself to your community, your neighbors, your state, and your country. And through that, positive change will occur. Thank you for listening to my reading for the day. I invite you to subscribe to my channel or just pop by in and out if you'd like. No obligation, but I do send you love and light, and may peace be with you and with you all. Thank you. And I just saw 444 on the clock, on the time. So it is actually 444 in the morning where I reside. And if you know what that means, it's confirmation from the spirit. And 444, typically when angels are trying to get a hold of us, whatever is on our hearts and minds in that very moment, there's typically a surrounding by angels and acceptance and understanding of what is, and guidance to know that the best is yet to come. Sending love and light and peace to all.